Folks, welcome back to the Logic Speak podcast. I'm your host, Adam Bieber. That's Jason Etheridge. Jason, welcome back to the show.
Good to be back.
Hey, so today we are going to talk about a fun conversation that you and I have been having a lot lately. But before I do, I wanted to ask you an icebreaker question. We're getting back on this.
I can't wait. I've been so excited.
Have you?
No.
I didn't think so. So you and I are both connoisseurs of the craft that is an old fashioned.
Oh, that we are.
So where is the best old fashioned? Where can a consumer go and acquire the best old fashioned? Where have you had your favorite old fashioned?
Oh, goodness.
I know mine.
Do you know the answer to that question is like asking me which one of your children is your favorite? Or what's your favorite movie? Like thousands. I've had so many good ones. The ones that stand out are the really bad ones.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But strangely, one of my favorite old fashions, and I don't even know the name of the place, but it was a cigar bar down in like Chambly.
Yeah.
And I went there with my buddy Bill, and they had a smoked old fashioned that was phenomenal.
I bet.
And I like smoked old fashions. I don't like too many of them, right? I mean, you can get a little, you know, if you're not careful. So one or two is in a couple weeks is good. That one was really, really good. Yeah. There used to be a restaurant in downtown Roswell, or just off the square in downtown Roswell, called the Whiskey Project.
Yep.
That had more whiskey than I've ever seen in one place.
Yeah.
And they had a maple old fashioned that was ungodly good.
Wow.
And that place is gone.
Oh,
sadly. Yeah.
I had my favorite one in recent times, and I'm blanking on the name, but there's a hotel over in Athens, Georgia. That is I think they used to make denim jeans. It's an old denim jeans factory right next to the railroad. And they revitalized that whole area. And so there's some businesses, there's kind of a little warehouse kind of vibe, co-working space, a couple of restaurants, and then the main mill building, they converted into a hotel.
Nice.
So it's got this really cool feel. Super high ceilings, big old beams, lots of metal. It's industrial feeling, but very, very clean, very nice. They have a restaurant and bar there with a nice bourbon selection, and they had a Georgia peach old fashioned.
Okay.
And it was on the sweeter side. I know that's not your favorite, but oh my gosh.
I just thought of another one, and I can't remember the name of the place.
So good.
Yeah, you now I'm like just firing on all cylinders here.
Well, good. So that was a fun one. I enjoyed that. So today we're going to talk about the idea of, as a leader and as a company, the role that you play in developing fulfilled employees and the dichotomy that sometimes people feel with trying to satisfy clients.
Yep.
And so it's a conversation that you've been having kind of with some other partners and strategic conversations outside our organization. And I wanted to pick your brain on kind of your thoughts around that. And so I guess kind of to kick things off, talk to us a little bit about the challenge that is helping an employee achieve fulfillment.
Well, I think where it starts for us as a company, where this conversation started years ago, is really from our mission. Our mission, as we've said before on the podcast, to use our abilities and technology to have a positive impact on the lives of our clients, employees, and community. Yeah. And so it's built into the mission, this duality of positive impact on clients, positive impact on employees. And up until, a while back when we started kind of interacting with this content, I used to start with, if we have a positive impact on our clients, they will make it possible for us to have a positive impact on our employees, and together we'll serve the community. And what I realized over time is that that was a mistake. I think I was setting the stage wrong, because it's all dependent on the client first. And of course, as a business, we have to service our clients. We have to serve our clients. All those things are true. Everything you used to hear, the client's always right. All that, right? Sure. I'm not arguing against that. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to fulfilled clients, if you anchor your satisfaction or your fulfillment to your client success, you create this culture or this mentality of performance. I can only be cared for by the company if I perform. And I think that creates this culture of doing, this culture of go, this culture of not feeling valued unless I'm contributing or unless I'm delivering.
Yeah.
And I think that's counter to how we want our employees to feel. So I think that's what kind of
because when you said it at the beginning, like it logically just makes sense. Like, hey, if we can deliver and really knock it out of the park for our clients, it's going to allow us to have opportunities to pour into our employees. And in theory, that sounds good. But I think you're right. The tension is we then prioritize things differently.
Right.
And there is a potential for a massive gap in employees being taken care of, employees being able to achieve fulfillment. One of the words I like to use is significance. I think we all are longing for a feeling of significance in our lives and our jobs and our home, our family. And as an employer and as the CEO of the company, you play a major role in being able to develop that.
Right. And I think what we've learned is fulfilled employees wow clients. Fulfilled employees take care of clients.
Yeah.
I think that's the flip.
Yeah.
To
What got you to change your perspective on that?
Well, I really it's observing the behavior of our employees over years.
Yeah.
The way that we talked about it, we prioritized service delivery so much that other non-service delivery employees or other non-service delivery behaviors, non-service delivery activities were always deprioritized because they weren't in service of the client. So I had unknowingly trained our company, serving that client is your top priority and nothing else matters, or nothing else is nearly important as that.
Yeah.
And again, no disrespect to serving clients. We all have to service our clients. We all have to take care of our clients. But that feeling of devaluing everything else in your company, it will eat you from the inside out.
Yep.
And so that's how we got to this idea that we needed to change the way we talked about it is by noticing the behaviors of our employees.
At some point, you started to develop this language around your visual of an employee and their time. And we'll Logic Speak is the example because you lead our company. Talk to us about that piece.
Well, for years, and I think a lot of owners, entrepreneurs, people who've started businesses can probably relate to this. When you hire your first set of employees, as you hire employees, your value gets intertwined with and tied to the company.
Yeah.
And so when an employee chooses to leave your company, I kind of jokingly, kind of equate this to, a girlfriend breaking up with you, right? And she tells you, oh, it's not you, it's me. And what she's saying is, no, it's you. But you,
I know all too well. Thank you.
But you get offended, right? Like you get hurt as if that employee was ever going to work at your company for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
You don't even intend to work at your company for the rest of your life.
Sure.
So I think that's just too much to saddle an employee with. And so, as I have been able to decouple my value from the success of Logic Speak, I've been able to see clearly that employment is really an intersection or a walking alongside of each other, a parallel path, right, between a company and an employee. And that intersection or that time together, you have a little bit of time, a little bit of opportunity, and a little bit of influence. And the question is, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
Because at some point that, either you will leave the employee, as a company, you will leave the employee.
Yep.
Or the company or the employee will leave you.
Yep.
And so in that time between when an employee starts and when they decide, to take the off-ramp, what are you going to do with that time?
Yeah.
And if it's just about getting done what needs to get done, you've really missed an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you end up with employees who don't feel valued, who don't feel fulfilled. And I think that's really kind of where that model intersects with what we're talking about, which is wanting to have employees that feel invested in, that feel valued, that feel fulfilled.
This is so good because there are a lot of type A results-driven senior leaders, leaders of companies, entrepreneurs, people that have this opportunity. And the interesting dichotomy is if you only look at results, you can actually get the same results out of both parties.
That's true. That is true.
Which is it's just real. You can focus only on the results and get results.
Yep.
You can pound it into your employees. You can micromanage and metric the crap out of someone.
Yeah.
And make them feel all this pressure to perform, and you're going to get the results.
That's right.
For a small period of time.
And then they will leave because they're dissatisfied, because they can't take it anymore, because they're burned out and they're overwhelmed. They will leave, and then you have to hire more employees to continue to get the same results.
Yep.
But oh, by the way, in this whole cycle, you have HR costs, recruiting costs, training costs, lack of productivity or efficiency costs.
Yep.
Like I submit that it will cost you more.
Yes.
To do it that way, even if in the short term it seems like it's a cheaper option.
That's the thing, because like in the short term, people go, "Oh, it's too much work to do all of that."
Yep.
Like I can still get the results, and I can just rule by power and kind of be the dictator of this little world that I call my company.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that see the opportunity, that like, hey, this is a shorter intersection than you really think or than you know.
Yeah.
Like out of 22 years, I don't remember what number employee I am, but there have been a lot of people that have worked at LogicSpeak.
Absolutely.
A lot of intersections, a lot of moments in time in someone's journey that they've been able to be a part of this, and that they've been able to be impacted by your leadership. And so to have the mindset of, okay, I'm going to make the most of this opportunity, because they're going to hit the off ramp at some point. And are they hitting the off ramp, shaking their fist on their way out the door because of just the brutal, hard experience?
Yep.
Or are they going, is the off-ramp actually a launch pad because they were set up for success, they were fulfilled while they were here, and even though their story goes a different direction, it's still something that leaves a lasting impact.
Yeah. And to me, the way or the bullseye that I've kind of come up with here is the mission, the goal of when the employee takes that off-ramp, no matter how, is that they would leave better than they came.
Yeah.
That in some capacity, it's not the same for every employee. It's not always going to be the same. But that if they, looking back 10 years into the future, when they're 10 years into the future, looking back at their time at LogicSpeak, that they would say, you know what, it was hard, or, maybe I left and it wasn't perfect, or the company had to leave me because of some way that I showed up. But ultimately, I left the company better than I got there.
Yep.
And that to me is the win.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. So what we're saying is fulfilled employees, it takes a higher priority.
Mm-hmm.
And the byproduct of fulfilled employees is satisfied clients.
That's right.
So how do we make fulfilled employees?
$1 million question. If you know, please write us. No, kidding. Yeah. And I think there are some well-worn paths that over years and years, we've all tried it the same way. That's how it was when we were young, and we grew up, and we end up kind of repeating those same things. And so, some of the things that I was thinking about, skills training, like giving them required training, because if we train them, then they'll be better. They will have improved their skills and they'll be more fulfilled. We'll give them raises and bonuses, and more money certainly is going to equal more fulfillment, right? Or if it's not raises, maybe we can't afford raises. Maybe we give them extra PTO, give them extra time off to go on more vacations or spend more time with their family.
Sure.
More recognition. We'll call them out in a team huddle or a company huddle and talk about how good they are, and certainly words of affirmation. People, who are, in that camp, they will feel more fulfilled. Or maybe you take the new approach and you buy more ping pong tables, or you have more beer Fridays or more taco Tuesdays, and certainly, a better work environment where they can have fun. That will make them more fulfilled. And of course the list goes on and on.
Hey, don't knock a good pizza party. There's nothing like a good pizza party to get a sales team going.
That is the truth. But,
okay.
and so, none of that inherently is bad. And what I will say to you is that some of that works, right? You might be listening and say, hey, well, we've done that, and that employee stayed for 20 years, and he said it was the best place he's ever worked.
Yep.
And I'm certain that that's true, and that may work until it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we have learned over the years is that only works to a point or for a period of time, and then it stops working.
Yeah.
And those same tricks, the same levers, the same knobs, the same gears don't work anymore. And so then we found ourselves at a crossroads. Like, what do we do? How do we, great people are still leaving. What is it that we do? How do we figure out how to do this? How do we figure out how to fulfill employees?
And the answer is?
The answer is you have to figure out their why.
Yeah.
Why do they work here?
Yep.
Why did they accept your job offer? What part of their career, what part of their life, what part of what they want to accomplish in life are you there to fulfill or to partner with them to do?
Yeah.
And the not fun answer is it's different for every person.
Yep.
Right? Every human being has different goals, has different dreams, has different desires, different life plans, different career paths. And so, I think the answer is how do we know their why? We have to ask them.
Yeah.
And I think that can be, if we're not used to that type of relationship with our employees,
mm-hmm.
that can be scary. It can be daunting. It can be nerve-wracking, right? Because what if their why, or what if their passion, what if the thing they're on the planet to do doesn't include working for your company in the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so you might be asking an employee, and they might be telling you, yeah, my goal is to leave this company. and I think that's something that we as leaders and we as managers and we as owners, we run from, because we don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
And the truth is, again, if you go back to, what we talked about before, we all feel that way.
Yeah.
Even an owner, even a senior manager, a senior leader at a company, rarely do you literally take 1 foot out of the company into the casket, or 1 foot out of the company and into retirement.
Yeah.
That's not what happens most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I mean, there's a reason why people have written books and TED Talks all about this specific thing, but it's sometimes the simple thing that is harder to do and execute on over and over and over again.
Yep.
And it takes time. It takes additional effort. It takes you being able to step outside of your priorities, your needs, the results, and going, hey, and here's the other thing too. As the employer, you're not responsible for satisfying every single bit of my why.
That's right.
But there are going to be things that I share with you about things I'm passionate about and what I love and what I want to do with my life, that you can go, hey, we can create some of that here.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do all of it. We're not going to hand you the keys to a Lamborghini.
Well, a good thing that just came up a couple months ago, we hired a new employee at the company, and thank goodness that they already have this ability to trust their leaders with some honest information, and so we were just getting to know each other, and it really really came up. What do you want to do with your career? What do you want to do with your life? What's your why? And what came out over some conversations, they wanted to start a coffee shop with their husband. Well, that clearly is not what Logic Speak is going to be doing in the next 5 years or 10. But that's super helpful to know, because what we can do at our company to partner with them is just ideas like involve them in some business conversations, right? Anytime that there's ever a training goal or a training rock or something that, where there's training, encourage them or allow them to get training on things that when they do start a coffee shop
will be helpful for them. Yeah.
Put them in situations where they get the opportunity to participate in management, because ultimately you're going to have employees at a coffee shop. So, I think a lot of times we think about, well, we can only participate in ways that benefit the company or in ways that are related to what the company's doing.
Yeah.
But I think that's a fallacy, or I think that's short-sighted. If you participate with the employee in just small ways along the way, they still have to own their dreams. They still have to be the ones to make their dreams a reality. But if you can partner with them and find ways to interact or to provide value along that path, you will have an employee who's super dedicated.
Yeah.
And who helps you deliver to your clients all the while until they decide to go
because the bullseye is they're fulfilled, not I'm going to try to get as much as I can out of them.
That's exactly right.
And so when they're fulfilled, then they're going to turn around and, hey, you've got me, I've got you.
Yep.
The loyalty develops, the engagement within what you're working on and what you're doing increases, the retention increases, and then it's how cool will it be to be some of the first people in line to get that cup of coffee.
Yeah,
and support them when the time comes.
I mean, I'm lobbying for a lifetime free coffees, but okay.
Yeah, one a day is fine. Yeah, they can manage that.
I won't abuse that. And I think I don't know where I was going there, but I do think that it's a slightly different view of partnering with an employee.
Yeah.
But man, have we seen that show up? Have we seen how that works and how an employee responds?
Yeah.
I remember what I was going to say. Because honestly, you don't know how long it's going to take for their passion or their vision or whatever it is that they want to come to fruition. They might even think it's only a year off. And you might know, no, you need to learn all these things, and it's 5 years or 6 years or 8 years.
Yep.
The average employee tenure at an IT company like ours is somewhere between 1 and 3 years.
Yep.
So if you only have them for that long anyway, which we are proud of the fact that our employees stay a lot longer than that. But if you only have that many years, they're going to leave anyway.
Yeah.
But you might as well help them be fulfilled and for them to give you their very best while they're here for that amount of time.
Yeah. In closing, there's a story that I love that I want you to share, and it's the story of Drew, one of our former employees at Logic Speak, who shared a compelling why with you, and you helped him take action on it. So would you just, the last couple minutes, kind of share how that evolved? Because it's the most tangible, real. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know about this coffee shop conversation, which is awesome. Like, that's another really good one. But the story with Drew's fleshed out all the way to the end.
Well, and in fairness and in full candor, I didn't know what I was doing when we were doing it.
Yeah, sure.
But it was only later that I recognized this principle in action.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20 for that.
So this was Drew's first professional job. And so, over the months that he had, after he had started, I took him to lunch because we were smaller then and I had the ability to do that a lot. So I took him to lunch. I'd already gotten to know him, but I wanted to know these kinds of things. Hey, what do you want to do in life? Where do you want to go? Because it was literally his first job.
Yeah. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah. That kind of question. He was super young.
Yeah.
And so, the answer, and all credit to Drew for being willing to be vulnerable, for willing to show up authentically, and for willing to trust that I could hold this, right?
Yeah.
His answer to me was, I want to be you one day.
Oh, yeah.
That is exactly what he said. And so I said, that's not the answer I expected.
Yeah. What do you mean?
But awesome. And, then he expounded. He wanted to he wanted to start an MSP. He wanted to, to have an IT company like the one that we have. And I said, awesome. We'll help you. You're not ready, right? I mean, this literally is your first job. You're not ready. But over your time here, you are going to learn how to do this.
Yep.
So we will help you.
Yep.
And so I think just that interaction, that lunch at a taco place in Crabapple, helped set the stage for his, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 years here at Logic Speak, where he was a sponge. He absorbed everything that we taught him. He would ask questions about why we did things, and he would offer to be parts of things that normally a young employee would never offer to be part of. He got promoted. He worked his way up. He ended up being our service manager. So he had made his way all the way up to being service manager. And then what seemingly was an unconnected event, we had decided at the company, we read this book, The Pumpkin Plan, shout out to that book. I can't even remember the author's name because it's a really long name. But we had read this book and we had decided that there were a handful of clients that we were kind of departing from, right? We were changing who we were. The companies, would potentially be better served to be with a different, with a different IT company. And so one afternoon, Drew called me and he said, "Hey, I hope this doesn't make you mad, but those clients, can I have them?" Which really was the completion or the fruition of that original statement 6 years or however many ago. And so I said, "You didn't make me mad. That's a phenomenal idea." And to shorten the story, Drew started his own company. We helped him with those clients, transition those clients.
Yep. So launched him with clients.
Clients, revenue day one.
Amazing.
I think all of them transitioned. So, we kind of went through the process of giving the client the choice, right? But all of them transitioned. We did it together, and I have continued to be able to be a mentor to him.
Yeah.
I have he and I have we call it our sister company. We have a continued relationship with that company. And so now he's 3 years in. He's doing great. He has a brand new baby.
Yeah.
He got married while he was here. I mean, Drew will and forever be family.
Yeah.
And so
I love it. I love it. I love it when he pops up in the office and comes to say, hey, he's so compassionate, so kind, embodies our core values tremendously. And it's just neat to see kind of where he's going. And honestly, I've gotten to work with him too, because there are times where folks will come to us and it's just not quite the fit. We're not going to be the perfect fit for everybody.
That's right.
And so to be able to go, hey, I don't think that I can serve you the way you need to be served, but we have a sister company that I think could.
Yep.
And to be able to hand him some potential clients and to share those opportunities. One, it's transparent to the prospect that I'm not just going to try to fit a square peg in a round hole just to get the deal, but that we can recognize, hey, this is not a good fit.
Yep.
We're not going to be able to serve you the best way. And so it's been so phenomenal, but it all goes back to a simple conversation that you unintentionally had.
Yeah.
Asking a young man, what do you want to do with your life? And then you realize now, 8-9 years later, that the results of that are tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
The impact that has on a person. You knew my why before I started here.
Yep.
Which was a cool.
We had learned that together.
And so it's just it's a superpower. It is humbling. It is. I think it doesn't come natural, so it takes practice. It's a muscle that you have to work out. But if somebody's been listening to this and they're like, okay, I had the same idea of take care of the clients, then I'll take care of my people and whatever, we'll figure it out. And I want to flip that. I want to start focusing on, let's empower the clients, kind of the Chick-fil-A method. Let's take care of our people really well, and then they'll go take care of our clients really well. How do you start? Give me just a good practical
Great question. Yeah.
start.
So, I think like a lot of leadership things, part of leadership is going first.
Yeah.
And so I think in this case, it's a really good opportunity to revisit your own why.
Oh, that's smart.
Sit down in a quiet room, little clarity break, and just revisit what is it about what your next season that gets you up in the morning? What are you passionate about? Why do you come to work? Why are you still at the company that you're at, whether you're the owner or not? To get crystal clear about that.
Yep.
Because that's always a good idea, but especially as you start to have these conversations with your employees, you can go first and you can show up authentically. You can let them know that it's okay to have dreams that are outside of the company tenure.
Yeah.
And I think nothing speaks trust like going first.
Yeah.
And so I think step number 1, revisit your why, get crystal clear about your why.
Yep.
I think step 2, you have to meet with your employees.
Yep.
Not just once. This is not a one and done. This is not a 5-minute conversation in the hall. It's not a checkbox. But you have to build the trust of having those kinds of conversations with your employees and then asking them, hey, why are you here at LogicSpeak or your company? Why is it that you come to work every day? What ultimately, what are your hopes and dreams for the next 5-10 years? What are those kinds of passions? What is your purpose? Because it's only then that you can know how you can help partner. And so the third step is when they tell you their why and you express gratitude for that, find ways to partner with them. Look for opportunities for their dreams and what you can bring to intersect.
Yeah.
Whether it's training, letting them in on meetings that they wouldn't normally be in on, giving them opportunities to step out in leadership roles or to step out in ownership of or responsibility. But ultimately start to look for those ways and then you can build a plan and write that down and share that with the employee and you can build a partnership over however many years you have.
The empathetic side of me goes, I'm putting myself in that employee's shoes. I'm going, how freaking awesome would it feel? How seen would I feel? And I mean, the reality is, how seen do I feel getting to work with you? Very much so. You know a lot about me. I share a lot of things personally because we have that trust. And we've shared compelling whys that involve us here at LogicSpeak and then involve us doing other things in life. And I just think it's such a empowering, a motivating, a person, an individual building exercise. And I call it an exercise because it's not natural. Nobody naturally pursues excellence like this. You have to intentionally do it.
Yep. I think you're right.
I think those practical steps are just the takeaways that we needed. Any closing thoughts?
No, I think to your point, it is not normal. It doesn't feel normal. Don't be surprised if employees don't immediately respond back with trust.
Yeah.
Because they've never had someone who has asked those questions before. Yep. Never had someone who's taken that interest before.
Yep.
So it can take a little bit to develop that relationship.
Yep.
So don't be surprised and keep at it. Don't give up.
And if you need some encouragement, send Jason a note.
There you go.
And tell him you're trying.
Absolutely.
Because that's really what we want to do. We want to encourage you to take the next step, whatever it looks like for you, and pursue deeper impact, more to have a positive impact on your employees, on your team, on the people that you're surrounded by. Because at the end of your life, you may still achieve great results, but the fulfillment that you have, knowing that you played a part in someone else's story,
so much greater.
Priceless.
Yep.
So good stuff, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. And folks, thank you for tuning in. Jason, thanks.
Yep. See you next time.